the education, learning how to think, how to respond to what's going on around them in a way that's coherent, in a way that's Catholic, in a way that they understand the truth and they're able to convey that to others. They're able to share that. I have very many fond memories of, as it turned out, once I came here and I began to give myself over to the program, and I found these other families that didn't have televisions either. And they were pretty normal. And very many fond memories that perhaps, I think there are some other graduates, some other alumni here. Carl Schmidt and I were together those years. We were together for a few years here, and perhaps your children have shared with you some of the wonderful things they've done. As I was here, it's been a long time since I've been back here. The classrooms, the Dante room downstairs, the Crispin room, the Lucy room, and the library, the plays that we did. I was speaking with Mrs. Schmidt about the Merchant of Venice and the Christmas Carol, and we did one of the Greek tragedies, and I still remember some of my lines. The sevenfold voyaging Pleiades, still high overhead. Incompetent, irrelevant, immaterial. Devil and Daniel Webster. And the art classes we had with Mr. Schmidt, I still have the painting that I made, and I remember that Mrs. Schmidt was talking, your wife and I were speaking about different ways of appreciating art, and I remember that you didn't really like mine. Well, this particular style, I had a kind of dabbing the background instead of drawing lines, I think. But I still have that painting. And just the wonderful things, the poetry, the French classes, the recorder classes. I was speaking with somebody about the recorder class that we had in the Lucy room with Mike Six. I don't know if any of you know Mike Six. He's married to to Julia. Louise is in the convent. And just the wonderful times we used to have there taunting Mr. Six with the recorders. But again, I guess the main point I would like to make is that just the firmness that I want to encourage you to have as parents, especially in this crucial time in the lives of your children. And again, as a priest, I've seen it more and more. I've been, as I said, a priest for almost 4 years. I've had the opportunity to be in some very large parishes in California and Colorado with a lot of children. And I've gotten to know a lot of families that are probably very similar to yours. You're not homeschooling families exactly. This has kind of a homeschool feel to it. But I know the values that you desire, and I know those are being inculcated and taught and given here at Trinity School. And I just want to encourage you to be firm in providing those for your children, because I'm not going to talk about how bad the world is and the conversion it needs. And that conversion is going to come about through the way you and I live, the way you and I live our faith, the way you and I follow the Lord, the way you and I pass on those values and guide your children, because, like me, I didn't want it. I didn't want any part of it. And yet now I'm so glad, I'm so thankful to God that my dad and my mom were firm, and that they held strong in the face of how bad I was, how much I wanted to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't know any better. As parents, you might say, well, I'm still struggling. I'm still weak. But yet God has given you a grace to be a parent. I remember one thing that Mr. Schmidt taught us in one of the theology classes about marriage. I use it in my marriage preparation. A beautiful line that you taught us. You were explaining marriage. And you spoke about how when a man and a woman fall in love and they get married, he talks about those things. The man and the woman see each other and they say, in effect, I want to see more of you. And what's the fruit of that? A child. It's got your face, it's got your nose, it's got your temper. The fruit of that love that you here have as husbands and wives is the children that you're paying to bring here, that you're desiring to bring here, that you want to thrive here, that you want to grow through this experience, that you want to encounter the truth through their time here. They're your treasures. And so I just cannot stress enough just the importance of your valuing that and living that and being firm in it and being firm in the grace that God gives you as parents to He wouldn't have given you that great gift of love between yourselves, first of all, and the fruit of that, the child, if He wasn't also going to give you the grace to guide them. And so Trivium School really is a place of, there's really a great grace here available to you all. And it's so beautiful that I'm an oblate of the Virgin Mary. It's so beautiful that it's under the mantle of Mary. It's under Mary's mantle, Mother Mary. And so I just thought I'd conclude by singing a song. Maybe some of you know it. Sancta Dei Genitrix, gratias agimus tibi, sancta sede sapiens tibi, gratias agimus tibi, Sancta Maria, Trivium nostrum, gratias agimus tibi. I did not want to end on such a low note. But I do want to, I want to take this opportunity to do a little advertising also. I have these things all on the table outside there. This is it looks like a comic book. It's not really a comic book. I like to call it a pictorial history. It's the story of the founder of our congregation. So you're all please welcome to take one of these. It's a beautiful, just a very short version of the life of our founder, Father Lanteri, founded the Oblates in 1826 in northern Italy. And so please take that and share that with your children. And I've got about 100 copies out there, so if you want, take 2. And then there's, just so you know a little bit more about the Oblates of the Virgin Mary, I've got some of these flyers out there. You're all welcome. Dr. Schmidt mentioned our shrine in Boston, the St. Clement's Eucharistic Shrine. You're all welcome to come there and pray. And be careful where you're parked because your car will get towed. Or you'll get ticketed. You might get ticketed and towed if you're not careful. There's free parking in front of the church. We're at 1105 Boylston Street by Fenway Park. Funny story. As a seminary, we have benediction of the Blessed Sacrament quite often. And one time we were having benediction one Sunday afternoon, and the priest elevated the monstrance. And just then somebody had a home run at Fenway Park. And as the monstrance was going up, the crowd went, so the crowds were adoring the Lord and they didn't even know it. But you're all welcome to come there and visit. It's the Archdiocesan Eucharistic Shrine, so please come there and pray. And if you happen to be there, knock on the door, ask for me. I'm there a lot of the time. I'm the vocation director. I'm looking for the new guys who are going to, God is calling to be oblates. Perhaps it's one of your sons. And so even as I encourage you to be firm in keeping them here or seeking their good and good Catholic education, also be open to the reality of their vocation, which might be different from yours. God might be He's calling them to something, some beautiful way of building up His kingdom in the world. Maybe as a husband or a wife, mom or dad, but maybe as a priest or a sister or a religious brother. And so just encourage you to be open to that. It's a beautiful gift to respond to God's call, whatever it is for your children. But you may help them along the way by bringing them to visit me or the Oblates.